3.5, we're doing multiplying with regrouping. This is the traditional method. Looks very, very, very similar to what we did with the traditional method in chapter 2, multiplying by one-digit numbers. We're just taking a step further, and that's really the only thing that students get confused on is that extra step. So first thing we're going to do is 36 times 2. We're going to kind of forget about this one for a second. This would be like when we did partial products. We're doing our ones times our ones, then our ones times our tens, and we're going to add them all up here. So instead of having 4 partial products, we're going to make it 2 partial products. First thing I'm going to do, exactly like what we learned last chapter. 2 times 6 is 12. My 2 comes down here. My 1 goes up here. Next thing I'm going to do is 2 times 3 plus 1. So I know 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So I've solved that first step. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a line through both those so I know that I've solved them. The other thing I'm going to do is put a 0 here. This acts as our placeholder. The reason I can put a 0 here and then solve 36 times 1 is very similar to why I could do 30 times 5. And we think of it 3 times 5, add on my 0 later. It's that sort of placeholder. We're also, this is the same as doing 36 times 2 plus 36 times 10. I'm just going to, so we did this here. Now we're doing this down here. But it can get kind of complicated in here to do 36 times 10. So I can add this 1 in later. Or I can add this 0 in later. It acts as my placeholder. So we're going to think 36 times 1, add in my 0. When we did our partial products, we knew when we did our tens times our tens and our tens times our ones, those numbers end in a 0. So we don't have to worry about anything, a 3 or a 5 or any other number being here. So now I'm going to do 1 times 6. So we really could write 36 times 1 over here, but we can think about it this way. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. That would be 36 times 10 would give me that 360. Now I add them up. My answer is 432. So again, we're just doing the traditional method. One more example, if I did 51 times 47. I'm going to do exactly what we did last chapter. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. So that gets me 357. Now I'm going to put a line through there to remind me that I've done that. I put a 0 here. Now I'm doing 51 times 4. Really, it's 51 times 40, like I talked about up here, but we're going to make it a little easier for ourselves to put our 0 here so I can think about it as 51 times 4 tens. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 4 is 20. I add all these up. 7, 9, 3. My answer is 2,397. So we're doing the traditional method with this. A lot of times it takes a lot of practice to figure this one out for most kids. It's just getting that habit of why the 0 works, and we talked about it a lot in class, and getting in the habit of doing this.